Hello and welcome to this Pulse Social podcast. My name is Ed Foxley. I'm a sports marketing officer, and I'm joined with Ryan Richardson, who is also a sports marketing officer. So Ryan, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm all good, thank you. So
Good.
won't waste any time. We'll get right into it. So just start off nice and easy. Just give me a background of yourself. You're a student. Where do you study? What do you study? What are you into?
hmm Yeah, so yeah, I'm a business management and finance student. I'm in my third year and my final year at the moment. Studying at St. Mary's University in Twickenham. A bit about me and like stuff I like doing. I love sport. I think that's probably the main sort of hobby and passion of mine is sport. Um, Other than sport, probably gaming. Really like gaming. I think I've come to a decision that my next investment is a new PC to get some actual proper like good games on there. And yeah, I've got other hobbies like I love dogs and stuff like that. Very, very social person. Like going out and stuff like that. Yeah.
Nice. So you mentioned sport there,
Yeah.
and you've told me that you have been competing in Taekwondo since you were 4 years old. So
Yeah.
Taekwondo is a somewhat niche combat sport, I would say, at least compared to like
Yeah, definitely.
boxing, wrestling, judo, things like that. So why did
Mhm.
you start taking in Taekwondo specifically?
So why I started taking it, I think um I don't actually know why I started, but I was four, so I don't know, I just sort of got chucked in there. But I do remember so my brother, who's a couple of years older than me, he used to train at this place called Kickfit, which was a taekwondo club, but it's like it's not proper taekwondo, it's not the proper thing. Like they have like all these different belts and stuff. It's not
Yeah,
like the traditional sort of taekwondo. So he used to train there, and before taekwondo, I was really big into like my football.
yeah.
So I was more the football child, and my brother was a taekwondo child. But then one day, my dad decided he wanted to take my brother to actual like proper taekwondo school so he can learn how to defend himself properly. I think that was the main reason. And I just tagged along, just tagged along to join in. So yeah, I had my first session at my local taekwondo club, and yeah, been doing it ever since. But I think the main reason I sort of started was because my dad wanted us to be able to defend ourselves, like growing
Yeah.
up in school and stuff. And the area I'm from Slough, so it's not the most glamorous sort of area, and you're bound to get in a couple sort of bust ups every now and then. Um, so yeah, my dad just wanted to make sure we knew how to sort of defend ourselves and have self control and build up just skills that would be useful for our life. So, yeah.
So would you almost say your brother was somewhat of an inspiration in getting involved in Taekwondo? And do you have any other inspirations?
Yeah, so my brother's definitely, even throughout my career in Taekwondo, I would say the main sort of person I looked up to was always my brother.
Yeah,
Um, when we were really young, I remember being like, I don't know, I was probably under the age of 10 at least. But there'd be instances in clubs where like I would be training with full grown adults sort of thing. And I like they wouldn't hold back, they
yeah.
dick me about. And my big brother was always there to sort of put them back in their place. So he always looked out for me during Taekwondo, and I don't know, his career, especially during the junior sort of stage, from about the age of 14 to 16. He was one of the best, especially in Britain, if not Europe. He was one of the best. He traveled to different regions, competing at Europeans, World Championships, all this sort of thing. Um, so yeah, I always looked up to him, definitely. And then uh, one of the main sort of fighters that I don't know. I just loved watching him fight was Sergey Tezegal. I hope you're saying his last name right. I'll never get it right, but he was a Turkish fighter, like Olympic champion, world champion. But he was so like just dynamic and so different to the normal way of fighting. Be doing all these spins and jumping and all this sort of stuff. So just really entertaining to watch. So he was definitely another one of the people that I sort of idolized growing up. And then finally, more recently, I'd say, probably from about, I think I was 15 when I joined my new club that I'm currently at now. But one of my club mates, Mohammed Noor, he was, I mean, I've never met someone so smart and so like determined. And he was again another role model, especially even like nowadays when he's competing at all these events and training full time, literally in GB in Manchester, living by himself, and also doing this. He's doing like a uni degree as well. That sort of resonates with me. If he can do it, there's no reason I can't push myself to sort of build not just only on my taekwondo career but also outside of it as well during like uni and stuff. Yeah, I'd definitely say them three. Them three are my top picks for role models. Yeah.
And you mentioned your brother competed in competitions. Do you do the same?
Yes,
What's the sort of like best you've finished in a competition if you have?
Best I finished. I'd say my biggest probably medal achievement is when I won bronze at the Polish Open. I think it was 2019. So yeah, like Polish Open was a G1 event. It's basically like a sort of the best way I sort of compare it is, in tennis, how they have like opens and all this sort of stuff. It's basically like that. So it's like world ranking sort of tournaments. And that was my first ever medal at a G1 event. And I mean, it was extremely tough. I mean, I remember the semi-final when I lost it. I was in tears because I just really wanted to win it. But after looking back at it, it was a real big achievement.
Some achievement.
But yeah, apart from that, I'll probably say when I went Albania in 2021 or 22, I can't remember now. Getting my years muddled up, but it was one of them. But that was for the under 21 European Championships, as well as the Albanian Open, which I mean, I didn't fight the best during the under 21s, which was quite disappointing for myself. But then during the Albania Open, so that was a week later, I fought really well against a top level opponent. Should have won, but unfortunately suffered an injury. So that trip wasn't fun to look back on, but it's also like I remember it, and I always keep that in the back of my mind when I'm training and stuff, because injuries are never nice, but they sort of fuel you as well when you come back. They give you extra fire in your belly. So yeah, I've recently come back now at the start of the year. So I tore my hamstrings twice last year. So I was out for quite a while. But yeah, I've come back, and I mean, I'd say I've improved a lot, not even just physically, but mentally as well. I think I'm much more like mentally strong. But yeah, I'd say those two are my biggest sort of achievements and finishes in Taekwondo.
Yeah, so, yeah. When you suffer from like them sort of hardships, it teaches you skills and lessons that you can then translate to the real world, for example. So what sort of skills do you think you picked up from Taekwondo that you can translate to the real world, with being a student or just working in general?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Like, I think the one good thing about Taekwondo is like it literally breathes like discipline, consistency, hard work, all this sort of stuff. And one of the tenets of Taekwondo is actually is in like having an indomitable spirit is what they call it. So yeah, indomitable spirit, which is basically just a fancy way to say resilience.
Yeah.
You know, be strong-willed, always fight through, sort of thing. But yeah, I'd say definitely resilience and discipline are probably the main two that I've carried in to sort of outside of Taekwondo. I remember during first year uni, like that was probably, it's really weird because like first year is usually the easiest year.
Yeah.
But I'd say first year was probably the toughest year that I had during university because at this point I was training quite a bit, traveling up and down the country, like training and stuff. And like there were so many times where I just didn't, I didn't want to do it because it's just a lot of work. It wasn't even like the actual training; it was more of just making it to training, and then traveling up to uni and stuff. There was just a lot of travel, and I didn't feel like I sort of had the ability to sort of balance all these things at
Yeah.
once. And obviously, I was going to choose, my uni and my sort of career progression
Yeah.
over Taekwondo. But I stuck at it. My parents, they're a big help. My brother as well. I mean, he literally went through this exact thing. He studied at St. Mary's. He came out of the 2-1. He was training full time, sort of thing. So he's literally been through it. So he's always helped me, sort of stay level headed, and not make a drastic, unnecessary decision. But yeah, I'd probably say first year was definitely the hardest. But through Taekwondo, I've learned how to sort of power through
Yeah.
things and just getting done. Which is something you know something that I'd say I'm quite good at, and one of my strongest sort of attributes is no matter the challenge, I'll always at least give it a good try.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, you mentioned it there as well, like with uni and sport balance. Doesn't have to
Yeah.
be uni, it could be college or school as well, but or
Mhm.
work. But like, how do you find it best to balance sort of uni and outside sport? What sort
Mhm.
of things how do you do it yourself? And do you think uni and things like that hinder sport, like being able to participate in sport?
Yeah. So yeah, what after my first year, one thing I sort of implemented was actually having a schedule and sticking by it. Because I mean, during first year, I always tried to sort of make a schedule, but I just never sort of stuck at it, and I would sort
Yeah.
of give up after 3 days, sort of thing, because it was just waking up like at 7 a.m. and then getting my training in. Then it was just, I don't know, it's a lot harder for me back then. But yeah, during my second year, I sort of made the conscious decision to sort of back up my ideas and actually stick to the schedule
Yeah.
that I made. So I'd say yeah, definitely, just planning out, like, doesn't even have to be a week, it could be literally a day. I personally do a week, but like just at least knowing what you have to do over a certain period of time and then getting it done is I think that's probably the main thing. And like setting small targets as well. Like I've seen so many people, like, I know, let's use running for example. They'll try and get a certain time for 5K, and they'll
Yeah.
try and get like 4 minute 30 or something and go from 5 minutes to 4 minute 30s.
Yeah. It's unrealistic.
I used to be that person. Yeah, it's just not realistic. You're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Yeah.
So what I started doing was just making small, like it would literally be like monthly, like sort of small improvements, and then drastically, you get that sense of reward, and
Yeah.
also you're actually benefiting from it as well. Um, but yeah, with uni, so I'm a sports scholar, so the university has actually helped me a lot, with like the training and
Yeah.
funding sort of side of it. One thing that greatly benefited me was like actually having access to a personal trainer and the facilities that they use. So obviously I have a history with injuries. Even before uni,
Yeah.
it was like I was getting injured every other week. um, but yeah, one thing they helped me with was bringing in a S&C coach, a strength and conditioning coach, and after utilizing that tool that they provided me with, you know, my overall just body health, because one thing about taekwondo is because it's a weight sort of they use weight categories.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a dieting and weight cutting side to it as
Yeah.
well. Um, and I remember when I was younger, like I'd be cutting stupid amounts, and like, it's not healthy for a teenage boy to be cutting, you know, like nearly 10 kilos
Yeah. That's a lot of weight.
per competition. Yeah, and it just wasn't healthy. And I think that had an effect on my body. But yeah, the S&C side of it really helped me sort of build back up that physical physical strength and just overall attributes as well. On terms of, do I think uni hinders sport? I think um I I wouldn't say no, I don't think it does, because at the end of the day, you know, you go to uni knowing that it's going to be difficult. Like no one comes out of a degree and says, oh, that was a walk in the park,
Yeah.
smooth sailing sort of thing. So I already went in with the mindset that it was going to be hard. And then with the obviously added challenge of balancing it with taekwondo. I mean, like I said, during my first year, it was extremely hard. But once you once you have like these sort of systems in place, I think overall you'll actually benefit in
Yeah.
both. Like, what they'll benefit each other. So that in terms of uni, the fact that I was planning and scheduling helped me sort of stay on track with my assignments and stuff like that, and actually get my work done. Um, in terms of like resilience and discipline, the skills that I got from Taekwondo, um, again in uni, like you need those things to get through it. You know, there's always going to be challenges and stuff come up, even
Yeah.
just with like assignments and stuff like that. So yeah, I think overall, I'd say they benefit each other. Yeah.
Yeah. How important do you think sort of sport is in general? Or like do you think there's like
Mm.
specific group of people that need sport more than others, or what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think sport is. I think everyone should have at least some form of, not even sport, but just like physical activity in their day to day life. Like even if that's walking or running or something like that. But yeah, I think it's one of the most important things in life, because one, obviously it helps, helps you physically, staying
Yeah.
fit, helps your body keep healthy. But also the mental side of things. I mean, I couldn't imagine what I'd be doing now if I never had sport in my life.
I mean, you'd just be sitting at
I
home
don't.
doing nothing.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't have anything to do. Like um, I don't know. Yeah, like I just don't know what I'd be doing. But yeah, I think the mental side of sport is actually the most important thing, because like when I'm at training, or when I'm uh, going for a run, like I love running as well. When I'm doing any sort of physical activity, all the sort of outside, you know, challenges like uni or work or whatever, they don't really matter during that time, because you're there to better yourself, and if you follow through with it, you will end up bettering yourself. Um,
Like, you're not thinking
and
about anything else. You're focused on the sport.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it,
exactly. Like, is nothing else matters during that time period. And most of the time, like I go for runs nearly every day, but it's not because I sort of. I mean, obviously, I do it because like it helps endurance and stuff, and with my taekwondo. But also, I think the main benefit of it is when I don't go for a run a day, I just feel like I haven't had that hit of just like stress relief sort of thing.
Yeah.
I haven't had that hit. So like I think yeah, the main thing in sport, and I think everyone should do it because I think um it'll just help you overall. It'll make your life way better, way less stressful.
And like I said earlier, like there's groups of people that need sport as well, you know, to get communities together,
Yes.
or to get there might be some troubled kids that need to get away from a certain environment. They can go into a sporting environment, which is a lot better for them, and it keeps them out
Yeah,
of problems.
definitely. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I grew up in Slough, and I think Slough's like actually one of the most underrated sort of sporting towns because,
Yeah,
like, I mean, I remember when I was in secondary school, there's a Chelsea player. I don't know if you know him, Armando Broja. He's
yeah.
he used to go to he used to go to my secondary school, and I mean everyone like looked up to him as like, you know, that's what you want to be, sort of thing. Um, and like people would start, you know, doing what he's doing, you know, playing football,
Yeah,
taking stuff seriously and not just sort of chilling on the street sort of thing. Um, so I think the sort of the trickle down effect that sport has on communities as a whole is really important. Like, you know, I think some parents out there don't what's the word, like they don't put their children in sport and then they sort of reap the repercussions
yeah. They don't.
afterwards.
Their kids get involved in wrong things, and
Yeah,
they still
yeah,
pay
and
for it.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think sport, especially for young people, is just extremely important. Because at the end of the day, you know, it will help them build up skills. It'll help them, you know, doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think definitely just everyone should have sport in their life.
So, final question. What other
Yeah,
sports, like aside from Taekwondo, you mentioned you were involved in football. So, what is there
yeah.
anything else? Anything other sports that you're interested in now, and you're still following now, or you partaked in?
Yeah. So yeah, when I was younger, football was like definitely up there. It was definitely taekwondo and football. Um, that were the main two. So I played football. I can't even remember when I started playing football, but I stopped when I was 16
Yeah.
to sort of focus on taekwondo, and that was around time of like GCSEs and that sort of time period. So my parents wanted me to sort of focus on that as well. Um, but yeah, I've been playing football for I played football. Sorry, I don't play anymore. But yeah, I played football for many years. Played Sunday League level, and then got scouted by Reading. So I was playing for
Nice.
the Reading Academy from I think it was under 12s to under 14s, I believe, or maybe under 13s. It was 1 or 2 years for them.
Yeah.
But then I moved to Wycombe Wanderers. Um, so I was playing for them till under 14s. That was, and then afterwards I actually played a bit of. It was like a semi-pro team, sort of academy sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I was playing for them all the way up until under 16s, and then that's when I made the decision to stop it. Um, and another sport that I did was jujitsu. So during Conor McGregor's sort of UFC peak,
Yeah.
because I'm half Irish, so you know I loved him back in the day.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to be like him. So I took up jiu-jitsu, took up a bit of boxing, and then obviously had the taekwondo sort of side of it as well. So I was building myself into sort of an MMA
Yeah.
prodigy. But yeah, the jiu-jitsu, I don't know, it just wasn't for me. I did it for about a couple months, but yeah, I mean, not everyone is going to enjoy every sport. That one definitely wasn't one of my favorites. But I mean, like I said, built up a lot of skills. I mean, now I know that I don't like it. So if I never
Yeah,
tried it, never would have had that question answered.
better to try it than not.
Exactly, yeah. And then so nowadays, obviously I'm still doing my taekwondo. That's still the main sport. Sports I like watching. I really like F1.
Yeah.
That's sort of taken over my weekends. Binge watch even the practice sessions. I'll be watching it, qualifying and the race day as well.
Mm.
And then obviously football, watch Prem. I'm an Arsenal supporter, so I'm quite
Looking good for you at the moment.
happy at the moment. Yeah, yeah, I'm quite happy at the moment. And finally, another one that I like doing is talked on it earlier about running.
Mm.
I think running is something that I will do probably till I'm, I don't know, 60, probably.
You can't run anymore.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I just love it. It's like, yeah, every day I'll do at least 5K. Some days I'll do 10, 15K. But I think the main thing I enjoy about it is just, having my AirPods in, listening to music and just literally running. Not sometimes I don't even know where I'm going. I just sort of run.
Find your way home somehow.
But yeah, literally. Yeah, I'll just go for runs. Down my favorite route is down Windsor. It's a very sort of scenic route. So that's probably my favorite route that I run. But yeah, those are
Nice.
my
Well,
sports choice.
good conversation with you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Nice to learn a lot about you and your story, your background.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, thank you for listening to this Pulse Social podcast with me, Ed, and Ryan Richardson. And we'll see you in the next one.